No, not at all. Clearly, after 9/11, we were given an opportunity to redo government and how it looked at the risk from terrorists around the world, and in fact, domestic terrorists. We issued a bunch of reports, we did some legislation, and of course, we had the 9/11 Commission. Unfortunately, we have not implemented all of the common sense, well thought out reforms in the 9/11 Commission, and it showed on Christmas Day when a terrorist completely penetrated, with plenty of warning, our systems. I believe the president is absolutely right. The system failed. And it failed because the system is not yet a system that requires communication between these, as often called, stovepiped agencies. We've got to change that. I think the president acted as he saw fit to work behind the scenes, to get the details, and then get them out to us. My complaint is not about the president, because ultimately the system must work well beyond any president or vice president's direct contact with these agencies. Only the Oversight Committee really has the ability to bring together all parts of government with no stake in those various agencies, but a desire to make sure those agencies work together. It's the reason that government oversight and reform has broad jurisdiction. Is we're not concerned about one agency, we're concerned about the interaction of agencies and do they do their job. That's something that only our committee can do. My working relationship with Chairman Towns is always a little stressed, because often things are looked at as political when in fact they really are about reform. This is a good example where Chairman Sylvester Reyes on intelligence, along with Ranking Member Hoekstra, and we can go through chairman, ranking members of all the committees of jurisdiction. What we find is all of them are frustrated that the system isn't working. None of them have the authority that Chairman Towns and I have to bring those agencies together and figure out how to end stovepiping of information once and for all. Well, I'm not feeling that the Chairman Bernanke is likely to have been informed about what was happening at the New York Fed in this detail. But I am concerned that at the New York Fed, somebody would actually tell us that an important issue like whether or not to release required information that AIG was required to release, that decision didn't rise to the head there, which of course was Tim Geithner. So I want to find out who at the Fed thought they shouldn't tell him, and of course, who thought that they should withhold this information. I believe that the first step is genuine audit of the Fed and reasonable oversight, transparency, if you will, of what they're doing. I don't think we should rush in to second guess their autonomy, because I think that remains to be seen, and perhaps we don't. Although let's remember that their self-funding is because we give them the ability to print money at a profit. That's a pretty neat franchise. Well, if I give you all the money in the world and you loan it out and you make $40 billion, that's not a very good rate of return. So I think that before we look at the numbers claimed as profit, ask yourself, for example, on the amount of dollars that went out, how much did we pay to foreign governments in interest on offsetting equally valuable treasury bills? That's a better test of whether there was a net profit or just a gross profit.